Welcome to 5-Star Weekly. We've got a packed show with the Patreon fam doing a mid-season review, talking who might need to go in the next transfer window. Can Emmanuel Lattelat hit double digits in goals? Getting all that and more coming up. Before we get into it, become part of the notification squad by hitting the bell next to the subscribe button on YouTube. Welcome to the show, 5-Star fam. I'm AJ, and joined by our Patreon fam, our highest tiers, and we have got Nick, we've got Drew, we've got Gavin. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Thanks for having us.
Hello everyone. Thank you for having us, AJ.
Yes, indeed. Michael sends his regards. He unfortunately is with child, so he will not be joining us for this mid-season review. But yeah, we've got a lot to get through, so let's get right into it. But yeah, the first half of the 2025 Atlanta United season. Let's be real, it's been a mare. But it's been buoyed by a couple of really good results. Performances. We'll roughly say performances. But yes, at the very least, Atlanta United, they have not come into the mid-season as the wooden spoon. So we have that. We have that.
God.
But yeah, as far as a grade, we'll just we won't give reasons why. We'll get into the reasons why after that. But and we'll kind of go Nick, Drew, Gavin. What would you give as a season grade for Atlanta United so far, Nick?
I would go with C right now, right in the middle, because they're not the worst club I've ever seen. They're not the best club I've ever seen. They're very much in the middle for me right now. There's lots of improvements still to be made, but they have started to come back from that, as Weiss said on stream last night, the car wreck of progression of games that we had. And as long as they keep improving, I have high hopes. So we'll talk about that later, obviously. But I go right in the middle of the C at this point.
With a C? Okay. Drew?
I'd go with a D. They have been a little bit worse than we could have even imagined at the beginning of the year. They're doing below average. So it's C or D sounds like the best possible grade for this sort of season right now. So
okay, and you guys can give pluses and minuses as well, but Gavin?
That's exactly what I was about to do. I agree with Drew. I'm going with a D plus, but I would say without these last two matches, if we hadn't won those games, I'd say D minus or maybe even an F. But yeah, obviously this season has gone nowhere near the preseason expectations so far. We could be getting off to something with, like, considering these last two amazing wins. I'm not going to say amazing performances because none of them were perfect, but wins are wins, and you can build off of it. And with this upcoming away stretch, we could get some wins with what we've built off the last few matches. But overall, season, it's been pretty bad. I'd say we can be a contender if we can get Lattelat scoring again, and if Stian Gregerson comes back healthy and strong, because I think he's one of the best defenders maybe in the MLS when he's healthy.
Yeah, well, yeah. So it's definitely we're barely passing, yeah, and we're at least average, according to Nick. So yeah, I'm gonna be a little bit more harsh than everybody. I have it as a D minus. It's rough. It's a rough watch. It's as far as buoyed by, again, the performances recently, but before that, I don't think a lot of fans would say that. Yeah, it's been at any point close to what anybody wanted. Least of all the front office, I would assume, either. I mean, as well the pundits across the league. You know, they had us all finishing in the top 4. This is a gross underperformance for sure. But yeah, we'll get into why right now. But yeah, it's the performance breakdown. And so, yeah, you know, as far as those expectations and reality, if you've ever seen 500 Days of Summer, well, yeah, you know, the expectations and the reality usually don't always align, and especially in Joseph Gordon-Levitt's case, where, yeah, you get the knife to your chest here, and it feels like that. It definitely feels like the knife to the chest here, because, yes, you know, every conceivable person probably thought we were going to make the top 4, and right now we're in 12th. And yeah, as far as, let's take a look at, you know, where everything is around us, or, you know, kind of the, we'll have one more game, but full transparency, we have played 16 games. We're recording this on a Thursday after the Orlando City match, but -7 goal difference. We've lost 7 games already, drawn 5, only won 4, and we just polished off a 2-month winless streak where 8 games we did not win. So yeah, as far as that, I guess, reality, I mean, Nick, as to talk to it, I guess, you your temperature on the team right now, as far as, you know, fandom, your maybe even, because I know you've got season tickets. What's your feeling on season tickets right now?
Well, as I've said before, that I worry about how the team performance relates to how the front office sees us as the fans. The players are very aware of the performance that they have been putting in. That's for sure. And I think that they probably got to a point where we're like, what are we doing? And then they just decided to, prior to last Sunday's match, play a fucking match, you know? And but the thing I'm concerned about is the front office and the ticket prices for sure. And if they are so tone deaf to what's going on here, if we regress again, if we don't go forward in these next 6 matches on the road, and if Garth and company decide to raise the ticket prices, oh, there's going to be hell to be paid in the fan base, as we talked about. But again and again, the fervent supporters might just walk out. And
Yeah,
I don't know what I'd do in that case.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yeah.
very real.
Yeah, and it's if the supporter section empties out before matches even start next year, that's very concerning. So yeah, they have a lot of improvement to make. But Drew, what's been the most concerning trend for you so far in the first half of the season?
I've got 2 that are really concerning, and one is carrying on from last year. The most concerning thing is, up until these last 2 games was the lack of goals, the lack of our players able to put the ball in the back of the net. We were touted preseason about having all this firepower and all this goal scoring threats, but we were going games with nothing, and it's really concerning that we do have the firepower. We have Latte Lat, we have Marinchuk, we have Almadon, we have Saba, and we're still not really seeing the best from a lot of them, and we aren't getting the goal contributions from a lot of them.
Yep.
But now with these past couple games, we're starting to see more goal contributions from some of the other pieces, which that is a good thing to see. That is a good thing for the rest of the team. The second concern is the injury concern. That has been plaguing us last year, and it's continued on into this year. and it's a lot of the same sort of injuries, and it's a little concerning in that aspect, because I know I brought it up last year. Is our medical staff and our training routine good enough to keep these players on the pitch for an entire season or for most of the season? And right now it does not look like it, and it's very concerning.
Yeah. And it is, MLS depth-wise, it's difficult to have two starters in every position. And unfortunately, our defense has basically been decimated by those injuries. So as far as a consistent 11 or a, first choice defense being deployed every single match, it hasn't even remotely been the case, unfortunately. But Gavin, yeah, as far as, maybe the play itself, because we cannot seem to play full 90 minutes. Even Jay Fortune mentioned in one of the social media videos after the match, he was like, he did the meme. He was like, they had us in the first half, but absolutely they did it in the second half against Orlando City, where, enough to, of course, win the game. But, is that, part of the performance things that concern you?
Yeah, I mean, they were like, what happened in the game against Orlando is that, I feel Guzan gave up a bad goal and Derek Williams made a terrible play, and we've been doing that a lot. Like, as of late, like Drew said, we're carrying on things from last season. We made terrible plays last season, and that's happened a lot more this season as well. And I'd say we're a little lucky we won that game with the red card. I feel like, I don't know if we would have won without it, but we definitely could have pulled a draw. But other than just that, overall this season, we're not scoring enough goals. We spent $50 million on this team, and we're not scoring goals. Like, it's got to change. Like, over like the last few games, it's changed a bit, and we might be finding a way. But I feel as if there's players on this team that don't play for the badge. I feel like most of them play for the money. I'm not going to call out names, but I will call out the players that I feel do care for this team more than the players that I'd say are on a better skill level. I feel like, for example, Ronald Hernandez, he's been here for a while, and I know he cares for this team, but he's not that good. And Guzan's been here for a while, but he's not the best of goalkeepers. I feel like this upcoming transfer window has got to be one of the most important ones in our history, because we're going to need to make some changes if we want to win more games and make a push for the playoffs or even a higher spot.
Yeah, and definitely. Yeah, we'll get to that in a bit, in a couple segments. But definitely astute points, gentlemen. And let's really maybe highlight some of the players that maybe this might be a struggle, actually, so I shudder to actually even ask this, but players that have maybe one, exceeded expectations, and then two, underperformed expectations. So just one of each. Nick. It's a hard first one, yep.
Well, do I go with Marinchuk or not? Well, up until the last two games, he was really underperforming, and all of a sudden he's come out of his shell a bit and has started to play good, but I put him in the middle of the pack. Unfortunately, you have to put Lottie Lath in there as underperforming, because we paid him all this money, and you can make a case for he's not getting the service he needs, but I feel like he should have more than 5 goals right now. He should be up there 8, 9, 10 goals at this point in the season, and contending for a golden boot. Overperforming, I can't for the life of me find anyone who's overperforming right now. How can I come up with someone given the play we've had in the first part of this season? So I'm gonna have to take a pass on that, honestly.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll actually I'll shoot it to you, Drew. I'll if no one can think of an overperformer, I'll give one. But Drew,
I have one, and it's kind of one that's under the radar here, and that is Luis Abram. He has become one of our starting back three. He's done well. He might not have the flashiest performances or do amazing, like, perfection every game, but he's been the most consistent player for our team this season since he's fallen into that role. And especially with how we thought of him this going into the season, he was kind of this backup that we were like, did we really need him or not? He's been really solid this season. Now, underperforming one, I've kind of got another one that we might not think of as much about, but Brooks Lennon. Brooks Lennon has now, especially the last two games, he is no longer the choice on that side. He is on the bench, and I think it's gonna be a while before we start to see him back, just because how we are playing right now is working, and we might see him in a couple sub appearances here or there, but what he was bringing when he was on the pitch was not good enough. It was, a lot of pace and crosses, but had no substance. It had no actual danger to it, and it was costing us games.
Yeah, I mean, it is with the caveat that he has been injured, and yes, the past two games he has been injured as well. But I mean, yeah, I think very astute watchers will see that Saba has been just way more dynamic as the right wing back, and his play clearly is showing that there's just more danger when he's on the pitch. No matter really which right-sided position he does play. But Gavin.
Yeah, I do want to add to that right before I get to mine. I got a little maybe bold take about Brooks Lennon. I just feel like considering how Saba Lobjanidze has been the better right wing back, and seeing Lennon maybe on the bench once he gets back from injury, I feel like he may or may not be one of those players that could get traded or sold somewhere possibly. I'm not ruling that out. I think it could be a possibility. And I mean, yeah, it's just, I feel he's been here for a while. And again, like I mentioned about people that have been here for a while that are not that good, one of those players are also, I feel like, is Brooks Lennon. I feel like he's just a little too predictable, and I just feel he's not as good as he used to be. When he came back from his injury that he had in Miami in the playoffs last season, he had a great assist to Latte Loth in the Miami match earlier this season, but like that's probably the only good play I feel he's made this season. So yeah, I mean, Brooks Lennon, unfortunately, I feel like that could be the way for him. But as for overachievers, underachievers, for my overachiever, I would say maybe it was hard for me to think of one at first, but now that I've thought about it, I'm probably gonna say Jay Fortune. I think he's had a pretty good start this season. I mean, on social media are even saying that we need to build the club around him. We got to build the statue, make him the future captain. I mean, obviously that may be a reach at a time like now, but Jay Fortune, definitely one of those players that need to keep playing because he's been really good midfielder for us. He's young, and I think at the end of this year, we got to give him a U22 contract or something like that. Yeah, Jay Fortune, look out. He could be special for us in the midfield. But as for underachievers, fans are gonna hate me for saying this, but unfortunately, as of right now, Miguel Almiron. And I hate to say that. I really, really hate to say that. Like, I'm sorry to those who disagree with me, but he's not what he used to be right now. And unfortunately, not 2018 anymore. We don't play under Tata Martino anymore. It's like, I discussed this with AJ last night. He operates better in open spaces. He runs across the pitch. Unfortunately, it's just, we don't see much of that anymore. He's more on the wing. I feel like we've tried like switching him to like what his like his old position was, and I don't think that really worked either. But yeah, I mean, I'm not saying Almiron isn't a good fit for this team. I feel like it takes time. And we've seen that with many players in the past. It does take time, and eventually, I mean, look, Almiron, he's still scoring goals. He's still making good plays. Like without him in the transition of attack, it'd be crucial without him. Don't get me wrong, but as of late, he's not. He's like making bad plays. He's making these like poor crosses, poor decisions. I mean, we've seen it lately, but eventually. Like Alexei Miranchuk, he had a terrible start of the season. Now look at him now. He is balling, and I think we could see that with Miggy in the future.
Yeah, and I mean, to caveat Miggy, I mean, he's got 3 goals and 1 assist. I mean, one of our leading goal scorers. So it's kind of a team-wide slump more so, and it also is, Almiron and Miranchuk have had to come deeper to really help with our build-up, which is highly impacted with not having your first choice defense. It's not an excuse, but it is the reason why that we have major difficulties in our attack, because it's not just the attackers, it's how you actually platform them and get the ball to your forwards. If you can't get it to them in dangerous areas, in zone 13, it's you're and we really are bereft of being in that area. In the most dangerous area, often games. Yeah, it's a big issue. Yeah, I'll say this: the overperformer, I would say, this season for me is Matt Edwards, because no one expected him to start this many games, and he looked a little shaky with some of the starts early on, but now as one of the center backs, as the right center back, he has looked like that's his spot. That's where he can thrive and really help us as one of those players that allows the other players to play further forward. And honestly, there's a little bit of redundancy with Brooks Lennon. I can see that happening. I agree, Gavin, that if he were traded, intra-league, it would make a whole lot of sense. Like, it would actually open up some of the other avenues for some other players to play more. And yeah, you won't have just the one note that comes from Brooks Lennon, unfortunately. So yeah, there is that underperformance. I mean, yeah, I think the biggest one, you can't even just excuse the the last 2 matches. Miranchuk through and through, unfortunately, is a disappointment. Unfortunately, it's he's maybe coming good-ish, but it doesn't make up for pretty much the last season, the end of last season, which was okay, but large in part the first part of this season, he was being carried by pretty much everybody else and anonymous for a lot of games, even though yes, he helps in the build-up, but he's brought in for goals and assists. Like, that's his role as the 10. And right now, yeah, it looks a little bit better, especially when you get the hockey assists as well in MLS. There are those things. So it's like, yeah, right now he's got 2 goals, 3 assists, but it's all in the last pretty much 2 matches. So yeah, we really needed more of that throughout each of the early games. Yeah, where was he in the first 14 games? Just 1 goal, 1 assist, really not good enough. But yeah, so let's get into the kind of tactical review of the season so far, which yeah, we changed from a 4-2-3-1, which everybody thought that Ronnie Deila was going to be very stubborn. Well, he had to pretty much do a lot of change, something that he's not really known for, because yes, I'm sure he has not suffered as much as he has so far ever. And yeah, that change to a kind of 3-5-2, I mean, do you feel like, Nick, it's it's obviously in the past, I think, maybe 4 to 5 matches that we've been seeing it rolled out where we have a 3-man back line. Do you feel like it's the way forward, or do you feel like eventually, there's maybe a way back to a 4-man back line, especially if we can make some moves?
I'm really iffy about having 3 in the back, and maybe it's more dictated by the injuries we've been suffering as to why we've went 5 in the middle, 3 in the back, as opposed to the 4 in the back. Maybe if we do get some stability on the injury front, we will go to the 4 in the back again. But it's been an interesting tactical change for Dyla to play this way. That's really how I see it. There's no other way to analyze it for me.
Yeah. Drew?
I think it's a smart decision right now, especially with who we have available and with how we're trying to play. I understand Dyla wants to play a very much counter-attacking style. And this formation does lend itself to that sort of fast break. You are able to kind of shield your wingers a little bit more, and you're able to push them a lot higher up in fast break opportunities. You can send Saba flying down the wing and know that he still has cover behind him. And I think with what we have right now, this is a great formation for what we have available. We're doing what we can to get results, and if this formation keeps working, I don't think we should change it unless we get a bunch of different transfers in that kind of sways me in one direction or another. Keep it going.
Gavin?
Yeah, I agree with Drew. We'll see how this transfer window looks. Like, we could have who knows how Ryan Dyla will want to change, because he's been a little full of surprises with the formation at times, but like, for example, earlier this season, it's like, okay, Miggy's not looking good, let's play him here. Now he's back here, and it's like, yeah, he can be full of surprises a little bit sometimes, but with what we've seen the last few matches, it is working. It is working, like you said, like Drew said. Saba on the right wing, I like to see that. We've just been playing really well lately, especially like, Saba. I feel like he's done well. He's done better this season creating, like, chances for goals, like the goal that Alexi got last night against Orlando, Jay Fortune's goal against Cincinnati, even the game-winning assist against Orlando for Jamal TRA. I mean, Saba's getting more involved in those plays, so it's good to see that. But that's more of a him being better than Lennon kind of point. But other than that, the formation, if it's working, just keep going with it. We'll see what happens when Steven Gregerson comes back with how the defenders are shaped. But yeah, so yeah, we'll see how it goes going on. It's only a matter of time. It'll be an interesting transfer window, but right now it's working, and I think we should stick that way.
Yeah. And the funny part about the 352 really is that the real only change is where Miggy is really at the moment, which is higher up, closer to the box, inside the box more often, and then drifting out left a little bit because he does like to drift in those areas. So basically Saba has just vacated that left side, and that fluidity of that 4-man back line or 3-man back line where it can shift in a match if we need it to, because basically it's, Saba could pretty much play right wing, and then not Anthony. Why do I keep thinking about NBA? Anyway, it's the playoffs right now. That's probably why. But Matt Edwards is the right center back, but can also be a right back as well. He's played there early on this season, and has looked decently solid at times. And Amador obviously can go from left wing back to left back. So it is where it's not a major shift. It's just that positionally that awareness of where they need to be has been a little bit different to really enact that change that's, on top of them, the players being called soft, which that I think was probably a big factor as well, so far as the turnaround. But because I guess it is true. The last 2 months were some of the softest things that we've ever seen on the pitch from LA United. Because inside the box, on both sides, it was called out by Ronny Deila, and it's interesting. I mean, I think he is learning his players. Saba, he has figured out finally how to deploy him where, he can actually be the most dangerous. And then Miguel Miron remains to be seen if, that's really where he can thrive the most. But Alexei Miranchuk, definitely in that kind of more right-sided kind of 8 role a little bit, has been platformed to be able to not be in the same areas that that Miggy operates in. You're starting to kind of think, like, is Miggy the problem? But it's, I don't think it truly is, but, obviously we kind of talked about it. But, it is that too. Like, Manuel Atelat, still on an island, unfortunately. And I think that's the most important thing. How do we find him in the box and give him the service that he needs? I don't know. Like, I'll open it up to anybody that wants to talk on this. How do we platform Emmanuel Atelat?
That's the $64,000 question.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
it seems like everybody has tried just about everything to get a pass to him, and it's just been almost there and not quite on target. And I don't think, to me, that Lottie Lath has been visibly frustrated by it. But I think if I were him underneath the surface, I would be frustrated as to what is happening. $40 million notwithstanding, put aside, just as a football player, he's got to be irritated that he's just not connecting on all this. He's trying, that's for sure. And in order for me to make a proper judgment as to what's going on here, I would have to see what's going on in practice, how they're drilling, how they're preparing to try to give him a ball to put in the goal. Without knowing that, I don't know what the answer is. I mean, it seems like just about everybody has tried to get him a ball.
Mm-hmm. And I
do want to
go ahead.
Yeah, I do want to add, when Latte Lath arrived here at Atlanta United earlier this preseason, he was asked a question. I don't remember which interview this was, but he was asked a question about winning the Golden Boot, and he mentioned the team comes first. Like, it's not his number one goal. He wants what's best for the team. So I'm not saying he's like not pissed about not scoring goals, because obviously you got to be. You're a striker. You score goals. That's your job. Inside, he's definitely not happy about scoring. And how do we solve it? I think just eventually, at some point, he's going to get that goal, and we go from there. I think we just keep doing what we're doing, because what we're doing right now is working, and we don't need to change it, because if we change it up, we could make a mistake, and we could go back to losing again. So I think Latte-Lat's got to be a little more patient. Unfortunately, I don't know if he's going to be that Golden Boot winner, because considering, I believe, Ty Baribo is still leading the Golden Boot race. He's in the double digits, and Latte-Lat has like 5 right now, I think. So he's got ways to go. And like he said earlier this season, the team comes first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's exactly that, where it's just, like we've mentioned in a lot of the live streams, he's feeding off of scraps, and then he's unfortunately underperforming his XG. He's getting in some good spots because of those said scraps. But yeah, Ty Baribo is at 13, and it's just, it's... Brian White as well. He's gonna have to go on an unprecedented Joseph Martinez scoring spree in order to catch that a little bit. So that
Not going to happen.
yeah, probably unlikely. I mean, the caveat is that Leo Messi is only at 8 goals, so that's he's not that far away as far as that. So we can give him that that little bit. But yeah, I mean, speaking of transfers and kind of what needs to happen, because there has been a vote of confidence for not only Chris Henderson but also Ronnie Dyla. For how long that will be interesting. Obviously, it is because that there have been a couple of good results lately. That's the hot seat is not as hot. It's a little less warm, but the transfers definitely were talked about by Garth Lagerwey, and he said that pretty much no player is safe except for the DPs. And yeah, there are a lot of players that are underperforming that we have talked about, of course. But what's one position that you would bring in a new player, and then what's one player that you would move in this summer transfer window? Nick.
Lennon, definitely. Yeah, no question. For the same reasons that Gavin talked about. He's underperformed City, and you've got to get a better defender in here. I would also make a case for Derek Williams to go as well. He and the Orlando match last night, he committed such an error to give up that goal. We were all up there saying, "What are you doing?"
Because that is you just punt it out into the sidelines, and don't try to play through that. But is there a position that you would bring in? As far as do we need depth in defense? Do we need depth in midfield? A forward, a winger? What do you think?
Defense, definitely. I mean, for the same reason you get rid of the defenders, you bring in defenders. I mean, I think we're okay in the midfield. I think we're okay up front. We've got the pieces there. We just need defense. Defense.
Okay. Drew.
I'll give two positions. One's a little less important. Left wing is definitely something that we need to get some depth at. We're looking at Mosquera coming off the bench as our really only winger option on that side. It's not good enough. It's not good enough on that side. Amador and Hernandez playing as more of a left back or a left wing back is fine, but for an out and out winger, we don't have anywhere near as good of options. And another way less key piece is we need to look at a goalie. We need to look at a backup goalie or somebody that can be waiting in the wings after Brad is gone. Cohen, we thought was going to be good enough. He hasn't proven it yet, and I don't know if he ever will. And that becomes a really key issue. And honestly, he's one player that I think could be on his way out this transfer window. Honestly, because he can't be somebody that played Champions League, can't be happy with sitting on the bench like he is. I would not shock me to see him walk.
I mean, this transfer window, I think, that'd be ambitious. I think to kind of swap out a backup goalkeeper. But definitely interesting for sure. Gavin.
Yeah. Okay. So, Brad Guzan, I agree with Josh Cohen, but for this specific window, I don't see Brad Guzan losing his job for this window. I feel like I got mixed feelings, but I don't think we see him go. I don't think we see a new keeper start over him this window. You never know what can happen. It's the MLS. Who knows? But I feel like he may. I feel like it would either be at the end of this season or maybe next season. I don't know, because I don't even know when he's going to retire at this point. He's like 40 years old. I don't know when he's going to retire, but he's right that we do probably need a better goalkeeper. And the fact that Josh Cohen, I feel like, is stuck in that backup role, and I don't see him worthy as a starter, unfortunately for that. But anyway, for transfers in and out, I got 3 people on my list for out. One for Mosquera, because it's clear he's made on social media that he wants out. He wants to go back home. He's clearly homesick. And I also want to add on, how'd you miss an open net against Orlando? Like, there's no goalkeeper. How would you miss that open? I just had to say that. How do you do that? Anyway, yeah, Mosquera, Lennon, like I said early, and crap. I'll admit I think I forgot my third one, but in definitely defense, I feel like, and Nick mentioned Derek Williams earlier. I as well think he's stepped up, like, as a leader on this team, you know, vocally, but unfortunately he's been making bad plays, and he continues doing that, and you hate to see that happen. You just hate to see him keep on doing that. And unfortunately, I feel like we could get another good defender. Like, I feel like I think we need to buy a new defender this window. Gregerson for now. We'll see if Gregerson gets hurt again when he comes back. I feel like, look, I love Gregerson, but he's too injury prone. Speaking of that, I just remembered the third guy I wanted out, Tristan Muyumba, because he's too injury prone, and I feel like Jay Fortune and Bartek Schleich is that midfield combo that I like to see. And I also would like to see Will Riley get more playing time, because I remember his performance against FC Cincy earlier this season where it was an international window, and I was pretty satisfied with what he showed in that match. And yeah, I would like to see him get more playing time, but Muyumba, look, he's probably a great locker room guy, but too injury prone, and we've just got some players that might be a step ahead of him right now.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys. It is, unfortunately, though, the problem is if they are injured, they're gonna probably be difficult to move, and you know, who's gonna want to take our trash? I mean, okay, it's maybe harsh to call it that, but let's just be real as far as kind of really what it is, and as far as not them as a person and not them as a player really, but as it's just if they're injury prone and we're trying to get rid of them, who's going to want to take that, right? And so it's difficult because Tristan Muyumba has missed a lot of time recently, and in you know, a number of years too that he's been with us, he's always missed some time. And then Brooks Lennon, kind of not really been injured too much in his career, kind of been Mr. Reliable to a degree, but now not reliable, not only in injury, but also in form, which usually coincides with each other. Yeah, we'll pretty much have to take a little bit of a concession there, where it's, yeah, you know, we're gonna not get what we probably would have wanted. We're definitely not selling high. It's incredibly selling very, very low, unfortunately. And so, yeah, I mean, I agree though. Yeah, Lennon, Tristan Muyumba are kind of the obvious surplus to requirements players that, yeah, you know, and then, yeah, I think you can upgrade on Derek Williams for sure. I think if you were to move a person on, I mean, yeah, Luis Abram has been more consistent, but ultimately, is it a player that, you know, you really want as your starter? You would be moving Derek Williams, but then, okay, well, who do you have in place? And yeah, it's either Stian Gregerson, who's continually injured, or yeah, you have Luis Abram, who unfortunately can't win you a header, and you know, that's pretty important as a defender. So it's yeah, it's tough. This roster is very flawed, and there's probably even more players that we could, obviously, but you know, I think 6 players or something going out this window, probably not. But maybe 2 or 3, and then 2 or 3 players being brought in. Yeah, and I agree that it's a left winger. You do need more goals. You do need someone else who can create as well. And if you can find that unfortunately, it has to be a TAM player. Then yeah, you find you pull up trees to try to find that. And yeah, it's gonna be really difficult. Chris Henderson, Garth Lagerwey have it up against them to kind of figure that out. But especially on a side that's we're competing for wooden spoon. Let's just be real. The 6 away games are really going to be difficult. But yeah, we're going to hope for the best. But I mean, to pretty much try to convince somebody, I mean, it's pretty much going to be that window too, though. Like in July, pretty much when it starts. That's when we find out what what type of team we have. Are we flirting with one of the lower playoff spots, or are we being brandished as a wooden spoon contender? It's going to be really, really interesting. But
or somewhere in between.
Which yeah, I mean, either way, we are flirting with mediocrity. That's the thing. But yeah, let's get to kind of a AMA, kind of a 5-stripe forum, if you will. But yeah, so if you want to go on a rant, if you want to praise somebody, if you got a mid-season hot take, or if you just want to ask me something, let's hear it. Nick.
Well, not so much a hot take as it is praise, but for us fans that have stuck around, we continue to bring it every week. And that was certainly evident. This is recorded the day after we fucking beat Orlando. That's one positive of this season. But you're looking for a rant here, a hot take.
Doesn't have to be, but yeah.
Doesn't
Whatever's on your mind.
Well, very good. What's on my mind? There'll be a contrary viewpoint to what a lot of other people think, but I still have hope. I do. I still have hope that we are going in the right direction. And yeah, we've got this tough 6-game road stint coming up, and I have high hopes that we will find a couple wins on the road at least. If we come out of these 6 matches with 9 points all told, it's a good result for me. I'm not expecting us to get a win in New Jersey on this coming Saturday. After when we've been recording this, because we've never won there. We've drawn or lost even in the playoffs. So I'm not expecting that to change. Miami is going to be difficult on a Stonewall Pride weekend at that too. So you have all that going on. I don't know. We play DC, a very soft team, right around same place in the table as us. But anyway, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that we will get some results on this road trip, and then look out when we get back home and get the home crowd back into it as a factor. I'm really looking forward to what happens with the Charlotte match on July 19th, because they have been falling down the table, and we're bound to clash right in the middle, and that's a match I'm really looking forward to see what happens, because we have a bone to pick with them. What happened in the second week of the season, so there are things to look forward to ahead. The transfer window, definitely something to look forward to ahead. So yeah, that's how I feel at this moment.
All right. Yeah, I mean, definitely, yeah, I echo those, hopeful, high hopes, for sure. Hopefully that does happen.
Not the highest hopes. Don't misinterpret me. I mean, they're kind of tempered down just a little bit, considering how we all were at the beginning of the season and where we are now, I'm tempered,
Yeah, indeed. Drew?
I'll go with a little bit of a rant here. it has been tough this season. We know we've been underperforming. But I also do think that the expectations were way too high. We set the bar so high. We were shouting top four, MLS Cup, going for all of this. We are going to dominate teams out here. We didn't know how this team would actually gel. We had a new coach, 2 new DPs, and we were expecting everything to work perfectly smoothly. Yes, it is great to hope and try to expect the best for this team, but I think we went a little too far with what we were hoping. I know we came off the high of beating Miami in the playoffs last year, but we had to scrap and fight to get to that position. And I think if it was any other team other than Miami we were facing, we probably lose that. We are the worst type of team for Miami. We were the worst type of team for Miami last year. We were their polar opposite, and we exploited that. And I think we are seeing what happens when we set our expectations way too high with a new team with so many new parts. I think reasonably now we could see middle of the pack for playoff contention, maybe not top 4, but maybe that 6 range, right in there. That sort of spot is, if this team keeps going with its upward trajectory now, that's a reasonable thing to hope for. It's not perfect, but it's still fighting. It's still improving. This next stretch of games will be determined basically how the rest of the season will go, and we can set our expectations from there. This next set of 5 games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we are only 5 points away from Charlotte in 9th, who have 22. We have 17 points. But, yeah, to get to 6, which you have to beat the likes of Inter Miami, Orlando, Columbus, Nashville, Cincy, Philly, who are all having, kind of just kind of otherworldly seasons in a sense, because no one expected Nashville to be that high. No one expected Philly to be that high. But, yeah, and no one expected Inter Miami to be that low either. So it is a very stacked East for sure. But, yeah, definitely. We, if we can keep this momentum, it's something. But Gavin.
Yeah, if we can keep this momentum, it could be something. Okay. So, with these 2 matches that we just had, like, without those matches, I would be more than likely on a rant here. But I will point out, looking back at the preseason expectations we had, thinking Latte Loth, Golden Boot, up front runner, Atlanta United top 5, top 4, we're nowhere near that right now. Absolutely nowhere near that at all, and it's been terrible, very, very terrible. And I mean, if these 2 games didn't happen, I'd say there's got to be a change. Changes are needed. This transfer window is huge. It still is. It's just it sucks to see that. So it sucks that we're now in a similar position that we've been in for the past few years, that we're fighting to get back in the playoff picture. We're fighting for a good playoff spot. And I feel like if this team wants to get back to MLS Cup, you're going to need more home games. You're going to need more home games if you want a shot of winning these games in series. I mean, we pulled off upset it in Miami last time, I mean, who knows what's going to happen because MLS just keeps changing the playoff form. Because now we're in a series, so who knows? Maybe they're going to abandon that again, and maybe we won't see home at all, or keep the series. Lots of people don't like the way that's played, but I don't know. Point is, if we want to get back to MLS Cup and the talks for that, we're going to need to get in that top 5, top 4 spot. We got to stop. Like, we got to make the preseason expectations a reality. We got to perform better. We got to do better on the road, which I'm not saying it is very hard to get back to those 2018 days where we were winning almost every road game and home game, where we're winning almost all these games. It's very hard to get back to that. But it doesn't mean we can't be a good team, because we simply have not been a good team for a long time. But these past few games, their wins, we'll see what we can build off of them. Yeah, we'll see what we can build off of them going forward. And big away stretch upcoming. Nick mentioned 9 points would be a win. I'd say for Atlanta United, yes. But for like a top team, I'd say top team with a mentality, no, because they want to win every game. And that's what Atlanta United needs to be. We need the mentality. Well, we do have that mentality, but gotta be there. We gotta be there, and we gotta start winning games. So we gotta keep going. And big game coming up against the Red Bulls. And I think, talking about away games, that'd be a match right there to look at, considering we haven't won ever at Red Bull Arena. That'd be something. That'd be a statement right there if we win at Red Bull Arena.
Mm-hmm. And it is, Ryan Dowd is no stranger to New Jersey or the Red Bulls. So, yeah, very well could be. But, yeah, as far as, Atlanta United and, like we talked about, the expectations coming into the season, it's not only us. It's not only the fans. It's, the pundits. It's the front office as well. It's the whole culture of the club. It's the whole Kings of the South thing. It's the whole... we run this, this league or whatever kind of mentality, even though we've been far from that for quite some time. I think that's really where the cultural reset really needs to happen from that mentality standpoint, because that's really, I think, what's making it a little bit toxic as well, where, yeah, we should probably be more in the mindset of being that underdog, like Michael has been saying, because last season we eked into the playoffs, and to expect us to make a massive jump with just adding a couple players was probably a little bit foolish from all of us. Not only us, but the pundits, the front office. It's like you can't expect, a kind of 20-30 point upswing when you barely did very much to begin with. And plus, there's all that change. It is that. Yeah, I think we all deserve that slap on the wrist, because it is like, I think we got excited. Miggy coming in, the vibes were good. It was smart from a marketing standpoint. The airport vibes were just, sky high. It is a lot of those things. Yeah, exactly. And it's very, brilliant from that marketing standpoint. But yeah, I think going forward, we need to be more prudent. We need to be feeling a little bit more snake bitten, in a sense, unfortunately, and feeling that, okay, well, club, you have to prove it to us now. And it's not just like LA United gets shiny transfers. It's what we do. And unfortunately, we've hit on way fewer than we've actually, kind of hit gold mines on. And yeah, it's one of those things where I think fans should have every right to kind of just be, okay, well, prove it to us, because it really hasn't been the case. Like what I've said in previous years, we've been mediocre or worse longer than we've been good. So Garth Lagerwey, yes, that whole adage that we've been saying as well, that we've been spoiled by the club and all that, like, we're spoiling the club now, and for some time. So yeah, absolutely, the club needs to fix up. Like, I don't know how long it can last as far as how many of these hardcore fans, these fervent fans, will stick around. Like, it's impossible to ignore, those shortcomings. But it is, by all measures in MLS, you have a very successful CEO. You have one of the best sporting directors in the league. It is, yes, his first pretty much half season, mid-season of, kind of bringing in his players. Ronnie Dyla, again, as well, a half season. And he's won at every stop, and especially in a second season as well. So, yeah, do you give them more time? I think you do, of course. You can't just blow it up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like, Garth Lagerwey would be kind of foolish. He would be essentially on the hot seat himself if he let go of everybody. Like, it would just be quite silly. But yeah, no, Nick, if you had some thoughts there.
Yeah, absolutely. I've said it before on the post-show streams. Take a step back. It's not the coaches. It's not. I don't want to defend Garth totally, but it's not really him. It's not the coaches. It's not Chris Henderson. It was the players. It was always the players. That was where the focus should be. And what I really wish people would realize, in my opinion, is that you don't want to go find someone who wants to shoot for the moon, grab every trophy they can right out of the box. No, you've got to look for a player that has the grit, the soul, the right mentality to play for this badge. That's what you need. And you get those kind of players who put the team before themselves, you're in a lot better place. You have a lot more potential that way.
Yeah. And it's with more homegrowns. It's with, unfortunately, I think it's the sandbox that you're allowed to play in to a degree as well. Because, yeah, like, okay, yes, Inter Miami, it's a different story. They can bring in Lionel Messi, sure. But not every club is Lionel Messi with Inter Miami. Like, that scenario was a very unique one. But for LA United, yes, we're a slightly smaller market, but yeah, buoyed by this fan base, it is that where, you unfortunately, you have to get the kind of mid-level player in order to get the higher level player to really buy into everything. Yes, we got Miggy. Yes, we got Emmanuel Lat, but I mean, as far as Alexei Miranchuk, as far as, some of the other players, I think we could do better. Clearly, we could do better. And, it is that where, I mean, to a degree even, Miggy, we can do better. But we have to also get there. And right now, again, we're mediocre or worse. So we can only attract those level of players in order to kind of make that the launching pad for the better players. And especially, I think, maybe making moves around the league for MLS proven players is hopefully, one of the other strategies as well. But let's get into the second half season predictions. So, will LA United make the playoffs? And will Emmanuel Lat get into double digits for goals? Nick.
I'll answer the Lottie Lath question first. Yes, I think he'll get to double digits. Will he go beyond that much? Can't make a prediction there, certainly. He'll get to 10. I mean, he's going to score. It just hasn't happened in a while, you know.
I'm putting you to the sword, Nick. How many goals?
I don't think he gets more than 15, all told. Yeah.
How many, Nick?
When we make the playoffs? Oh, don't
give a number. Just throw out a number, man.
15. I'll throw out 15.
You're 15. Okay. All right. So yeah, he's gonna get on a scoring spree. Okay. But will Atlanta United make the playoffs?
I'll go with yes, barely 8, 9, around that area. I don't see us going higher than that. If we get really good, maybe 6 or 7. It's going to be right around in that area. Definitely not top 4. That's not happening. We're too far. 16 games into the season, we're too far for that to happen now. We would have to go on an unbelievable winning streak for that to happen, and the math just isn't there.
Yeah, and a lot would have to go wrong for a lot of clubs for that to happen.
Yeah, that's not happening. There are too many good clubs up at the top of the table. Philadelphia, Cincinnati, etc. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Drew, will we make the playoffs? Emmanuel Attilat, how many goals does he get at the end of the season?
I do think we make the playoffs. I think we scrape by. I think this next set of 5 games will basically make or break this season, honestly. If we come out of there with probably, say, 7 to 8 points, I think we see this team start to make a run, and I could see us getting as high as 6, and I honestly see us reasonably sitting around 7th to 8th. And I do think Latte Lath gets 10, breaks into double digits. I could see him getting, I'll go one more, 16. That sounds, if he can get hot and he can start getting, I think once he gets that 1, I think he starts getting hot and he starts getting that confidence back. I think he is very much a confidence player, and you could tell his confidence has been shaken a little bit, and if he gets that 1, it will do wonders for him.
I like that you pretty much Price is Right.
Price is Right rules.
Yeah.
Yep.
But Drew, or sorry, Gavin.
I'm now Drew.
You are now Drew.
Okay. I'm now Drew. Anyway, okay, so I'll answer the Latte Lath question first. I see him getting to a maximum 15 goals by the end of the season. Look, like I mentioned, he's definitely not happy right now with where he's at with 5 goals midpoint of the season. He's gonna want more, and I think he's gonna get more. Definitely, I think he's gonna get double digits for sure. If not, then that's a real problem. Yeah, with the striker that we signed at Atlanta United, gotta be at least 10 right there, especially with 5 right now. But yeah, I think eventually he will start scoring again. Unfortunately for him, he hasn't been as of late, but the team is moving, so he just gotta find his way in there while we're winning. As a fan, right at a point like now, it's a very hard question to answer, because right now we're fooled by are we gonna be this team where we can win these big games? Like right now we're on a 2-game winning streak for the first time this season, going into a big away game stretch. Can we carry that into that stretch? That's the question. We're just fooled on whether or not this is it right here. Is this it? Is this where we're gonna win, or are we just gonna go right back to playing very terrible? in our away stretch? But right now, it's a very hard question to answer. But as an Atlanta United fan, since the beginning, I'm gonna say yes, but barely, and a play-in spot, just like last season. Hopefully, a home game though.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, heart and mind say different things, and my heart says, of course, yes. Let's definitely get into the 6th and 7th spots. Latte Lad gets on fire, goes on a Jose Martinez-esque type of scoring streak. Miggy gets double digits in goals and assists. Moranchuk lives up to his potential. The higher tiered TAM players start living up to their salary. Schleich, Gregerson finds a kind of medical bill of health that is just unprecedented in his time here. Saba starts scoring goals and not just finding some creativity on the pitch. And hopefully, yeah, we do find a left winger. We do find a defender. Maybe even add a midfielder that can, start ticking for us a little bit. It's a lot to ask, unfortunately. And that's where the mind, unfortunately, says, yeah, okay. Probably the ceiling is a one of those playoff spots. And that would be a really good salvage of the season for sure. Seeing as, we had exactly the same situation last season pretty much. But, this time probably not with a coaching change. And, yeah, unfortunately, I think it's still probably that, Ronnie Deila has just as much to do that Rob Valentino had to do. He has to find some way to motivate these guys to pretty much not phone it in, not down tool. Essentially find a way to have these players that, many of them out of contract, fight for their jobs, fight for their living. And, I hope, I really do. And that's really all I can say. I mean, it's just that. It's like, there is the possibility. We've done it. So it's not completely outside of the realm of possibility. So why not do it 2 times in a row, especially with the second half Kings that Garth Lagerwey has pretty much done his not entire career, but many times in his career with the Seattle Sounders. So he knows about second half surges as well as anybody. So, it's there's the glimmer of hope. So let's hold on to that. But yeah, I guess kind of final thoughts on the season so far. We'll go with Nick.
I will say that if you saw Ronnie Deila's post-game speech from the Orlando match, he has the right attitude for motivating the players in his style. I think he is a great coach. I think he knows what he's doing. It's all on the players at this point. And if they can continue to go in the right direction as we've seen the last 2 matches, let's not get our hopes up way too high. Let's do one game at a time. One game at a time. And have realistic ambitions and expectations. Us as fans, have to have realistic expectations. Even if we fall short, just remember, in the end, it's just a game. But keep believing, keep believing in this team to keep going in the right direction, pull ourselves up, because it can happen, and who knows who's going to be here in the transfer window. I'm actually kind of curious to see what happens, because if, like I said earlier, if we can find players that want to play for this badge and give it their absolute effort, who knows what we can do. That's my hope.
Yeah. Drew.
I'd say this stretch, this road trip can make or break a team. You're going to be on longer road trips. You're going to be together a lot more. And they talked about wanting to get this team closer together and bond. This is their chance. And if they can come together, this team can do something special. We know a bunch of these players have it in them. This team isn't the core of this team. It was still the team that beat Miami last year and made that run to the playoffs. They can do it again, and that is what keep that hope alive and keep moving through this season. That is the biggest thing right now. Keep taking it one game at a time. Keep getting and scrapping out results, and that will put you in a very good spot going in the future.
I like it. Yeah, one game at a time for both Nick and Drew. But Gavin, what do you got?
Yeah, I as well. I as well agree with that. This team has done many crazy things in the past, and they for sure can do that again. And like Drew mentioned, this road stretch can make or break this team. I feel like if we get 3 wins out of this minimum, 3 wins, and avoid losing games, if we can get results, then we'd be in a good spot going forward after the stretch, going to the 3, because after the away stretch, we have a 3 home stretch in Chicago, Charlotte, which is probably the most important match there. Then we got Seattle. That's a home stretch where you got the advantage when you're because the bench is supposed to be a fortress, and these last few games have proved that. Even though, considering there were 39,000 at that Orlando game, still felt like there were at least 45,000 there, which is what we would usually see from 2018, 2019. But yeah, this team can do things, and I believe in them. Take it one game at a time. They can do it. So, almost ATL. Let's go.
Yeah.
I mean, go.
So, if we go by that, which would be amazing, if we didn't lose any of the games away. So basically, if we won 3, which would be 9, and then we drew 3, that would be 12 out of 18 possible points. Would be quite a boon.
I'd be satisfied with that. Yeah.
All right. Would be quite a boon for that.
How can you not? How can you not be satisfied with a? Yeah. How can you not be satisfied with that?
Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, if it's this though, I think we saw the mentality change the past couple matches where they were playing fearless. They were not afraid to lose. And that's really, I think, the mindset that we need to have at this moment is, we're in the doldrums. So, okay, throw them in forward. Be courageous. Get into the box. Shoot when you're even remotely close to the box. Because we have been allergic, essentially, at times to really trying to shoot from anywhere. And, yeah, I mean, the reality is still, though, our defense has to be able to keep the other team at bay. FC Cincy had nearly 30 shots, or I think they did. It's, we still need to figure that out, because you can't give up 30 shots and expect to win games. So, we still need to figure that out. And hopefully, there is that aspect of not only playing, to pretty much, not lose any games, but also being fearless. I don't know how you're going to have that kind of simultaneous mindset, but it pretty much is what we have to do if we're going to do what, Gavin is hoping. And that would be a very good road trip of, all those points. It would be incredible. And it would pretty much, I think, salvage where we are at currently in our season. So, yeah, I mean, that would put us in a very, very advantageous position coming to our home games. Hopefully that is the case. But yeah, guys, what do you think? We've said a lot of things. Let us know in those comments below what your predictions are. Will Emmanuel Lat get more than 15 goals? I didn't give my goal tally, but I think he's probably going to get unlucky 13. It's probably, unfortunately, an underwhelming return. But, yeah, I mean, on his pace, I mean, it's better than his pace now. I mean, he just basically has to be fed a lot more. And, hopefully he blows that out of the water. But, yeah, guys, that is pretty much the episode. That is the mid-season review. What did you guys think? Let us know in your comments below. But for Nick, for Drew, for Gavin, I'm AJ. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. See you in the next video, guys. Bye-bye.